a warrior, a hero, the fighter. Throughout history, tales of warriors have always been passed down through the generations, from Spartacus, Arthur, Maui, Beowulf and Hercules. Every civilization has had their heroes and their elite fighters. A fighter and their weapons are one and the same as they take control on the battlefield, from the Greek Spartans and their phalanx to the Roman gladiators and their gladius, the Japanese samurai and their katanas, and the Māori warriors and their taihas. Every civilization had its own warriors and their own weapons. In the original D&D, the fighter was one of the three classes you could play alongside the mage and the cleric. As the game was an extension of a tabletop wargame, combat was the primary focus and the fighter was the main choice for most players. When AD&D came on the scene, the fighter became part of the warrior class alongside the ranger and the paladin. Whereas the ranger became the woodland fighter with bows and dual weapons, the paladin became the defender of good and righteousness, the fighter was the master of all combat styles and wasn't bound to the restrictions of other warriors. They were the only class that could choose weapon specialization, giving them a much better chance to hit in combat. They were also the simplest class to play with the least rules of any other class, and for a lot of people it was the first character they made. So what makes the fighter so special? Well, it does everything well. They may not have the protection of a paladin, but they can use the armour and shields just as well. They may not have the damage output or the hit points of a barbarian, but it can still damage just as well. They may not have the hand-to-hand training like a monk, but they can still punch as well. And they may not have the range skills of a ranger, but they can use a bow just as well. While they don't specialise as other martial classes can in different roles, they can compete with those classes just as well and have the versatility to change their tactics at will. A game session can generally be broken into four types of gameplay: your combat encounters, your RP encounters, exploration encounters, and downtime. While the fighter has the potential to work in any mode, it's the combat encounters they excel at, so let's take a look at combat encounters. In combat, you have a few different roles to play. These are broken into the DPS, the tank, the buffer, and the crowd control. Your DPS tank can take a punishment and dish one out. Barbarians excel at that, but so can fighters. Your paladin serves as your tank and buffer, taking the blows and helping your allies out, but so can a fighter. DPS crowd control, that's generally your rangers at range, and your monks up close. And your buffer and crowd control, well, you want to excel at that, you would generally take a war cleric, or you can just spec a fighter the right way, and you can match the cleric in this. Any of these roles can easily be broken down with a fighter, and the great thing about them is how simple they play. So let's quickly go over the rules for today. First, no race or backgrounds are taken into account. Next, no variant rules, and then we won't actually be taking into account equipment or items. How are we going to rank, you may ask? Well, this is simply done in three stages. First, it's the level 1 character, then it'll be your options for leveling up, and finally it is your martial archetype versus the customization of feats. So what makes the fighters different in the two systems? Well, to begin with, not a lot actually. Both have a fighting style that they can choose from, and both level up mostly the same. However, this is the first class in Pathfinder that doesn't actually have a subclass or a class archetype. But for now, let's just look at the first level. At first level, both sides get 10 hit points. Both get access to all types of armour and shield, and both get simple and martial weapons. However, Pathfinder does start at Expert, giving them a +2 on all weapon types. This does include unarmed, something the monk doesn't get, and we'll get into that when we go do the monk class. D&D gets strength and constitution for their save and throws, whereas Pathfinder gets fortitude and reflex. Both get a wide range of skills, and both get a fighting style. D&D gets a feat with a choice of one style, and Pathfinder gets a range of feats allowing them to access different styles. More on this later. Both also get a special feature. D&D get second wind, allowing them to regain health once per short rest, and Pathfinder gets both shield block and attack of opportunity. Shield block is a feat open to all classes, however only 3 or 4 if you count the War Priest actually get this for free. This allows you to let the shield take the amount of damage when you are hit, but this is only useful if you are using a shield. And the attack of opportunity allows them to use their reaction to make an attack. The issue with this is both conflict for your reaction, and in D&D all classes get the attack of opportunity. So let's have a look at the fighting style. For D&D we have archery. This gives you a +2 to attack rolls with ranged weapons. You have blind fighting. Well, you get blind sight of 10 feet. This will include detecting any creatures that are hidden from you. You get defense, which gives you a +1 to your armor class. You get dueling, so this is using one single-handed weapon, and you get a +2 to attack rolls when using just one single-handed weapon, such as a rapier. You have great weapon fighting. This will give you re-rolls to the damage dice if you roll a 1 or a 2. You get interception, use your reaction to reduce the damage done to an ally. Protection, use your reaction to impose disadvantage on an attack against an ally. Superior technique, choose a maneuver from the Battlemaster subclass. Throw-in weapons, +2 damage on all throw-in weapons. 2 weapon fighting, add your ability mod to your second attack. In D&D, if you have a second weapon in your hand, you can use your bonus action to attack, but you don't add your strength or dexterity to the attacker. With this, you do. And finally, unarmed fighting. You can add 1d6 plus strength to your unarmed damage. Usually this is just 1 plus your strength. Or if you have no weapon or shield in your hands, it goes up to a 1d8. You also get 1d4 free damage onto a creature that you are grappling at the start of each round. As you can see, D&D has a wide range of styles available, but what does Pathfinder have? Well, we have combat assessment. Make a melee strike and get a free recall knowledge test on a target. We have double slice, so if you have 2 weapons, you can strike twice at the target and combine the damage. Exacting strike. If you miss your attack, then it doesn't account towards your attack penalty. In Pathfinder, you can make 3 attacks per turn at level 1, however, each subsequent attack after the first gets a massive penalty to the hit. You get point blank shot. This is the first of your fighter stances, and it ignores the volley rule for volley weapons. This is a penalty on attack rolls if they are too close for stuff like long bows, or for non-volley ranged weapons, you get a +2 on damage. You get power attack, you just add a second dice worth of damage. Reactive shield, this lets you use your reaction to raise your shield. In Pathfinder, you only get the shield bonus to your armor class if you spend an action raising it. This will let you use your reaction to raise it, so you can use all 3 of your abilities to move and attack. This will however conflict with your ability to use shield block, as you will need that to take a damage reduction on any damage you take, but you can take a feat to get around this later. You get snagging strike. When you make a strike, if you have a hand free, you can make the target flat-footed. And you have sudden charge. Stride twice, then attack. Each stride is usually 1 action. So effectively you're using 2 actions to stride twice and make 1 attack. This would usually be 3 actions, so this is pretty good action economy. You can see Pathfinder has many different combat options available for you to play with, but are they better than the options in D&D? Well, let's have a look at the winners. So, level 1, how are we marking this? Well, HP, this is going to be a draw. They both have 10 hit points, it's pretty much the same. Armor, this is also a draw. Weapons, I'm going to give this one to Pathfinder, as they get a +2 on all weapons flat out. Saving throws, Pathfinder does have better saving throws. You have both your constitution, your reflex, all of that sort of stuff. Your abilities, this is going to be a draw. Fighting style, this is definitely in D&D's favour, I believe. And other, well, this is also in D&D's favour. I like the fact that you can get hit points back on a short rest, whereas attack of opportunity feels like it should be available for all classes, and using a shield. It's very handy. I'm not going to deny that shield block is a great feat to have, but only if you have a shield. So, with 2 each, who actually wins? While D&D wins the fighting style, a lot of these styles just give you a bonus on attack or damage. Pathfinder, yeah, they may not have the same amount of fighting styles, but combining this with weapons expertise, it actually balances each other out. So it basically comes down to whether I prefer saving throws or a bit of extra health on a short rest. I think I'm going to give this one a draw. Both of them are incredibly handy, and in multiple campaigns, both these features have come up a lot. So, congratulations, level 1. Build any character in any system. You're going to have a lot of fun, and you're going to be a very, very good character. Now we can level up our fighter. First we will look at the choices we have. This is what you can choose to do as opposed to just being given something. We will look at the proficiencies. This here is how much you can add into your armor saves or to your attack rolls. We'll be looking at the abilities. This is your ability score modifier, i.e. how many times do you get to add stuff to your abilities. We'll have a look at all the feats that you get access to. We'll look at the extra features that the fighters get when they level up. And finally, we'll be looking at the capstone ability of each fighter. So to begin with, let's look at D&D. At level 2, you get Action Surge. So you can push yourself beyond your normal limits for a moment. On your turn, you can take one additional action. Once you use this feature, you must finish a short or long rest before you can use it again. And this upgrades at 17th level, where you can use it twice before a rest. At level 3, you can choose an archetype that you strive to emulate in your combat styles and techniques. This is basically the martial archetypes. We will get into that a bit later, but basically this gives you an ability at level 3, 7, 10, 15 and 18. At level 4 you get your first ability score improvement, and this repeats again at 6, 8, 12, 14, 16 and 19. You can increase 2 scores by 1 or 1 score by 2, however you can't go over 20 for any score using this feature. You can also, if you want, choose to take a feat instead of improving a score. And at level 5 you get your first +1 to your proficiency bonus. You get another one at 9th, 13th and 17th level, giving you a total of 4 to your proficiency bonuses. At level 5 you get extra attack. This will give you 1 more attack every time you take the attack action. This will increase to 3 attacks at level 11 and 4 attacks at level 20. And finally, at level 9 you get Indomitable. At the beginning of 9th level you can re-roll a save and throw that you fail. If you do so, you must use the new roll. And you can't use this feature until you go onto a long rest. You do get a second use of this at 13th level and a third use of this at 17th level. So let's break this down level by level. At level 2 your proficiency bonus is at a +2 and you get Action Surge. At level 3 your proficiency bonus is still +2 and you get your martial archetype. At level 4 you'll get your ability score improvement. Level 5 your proficiency bonus will be going up to +3 and you get an extra attack. At level 6 you get another ability score improvement. Level 7 a martial archetype feature. Level 8 another ability score improvement. And level 9 a proficiency bonus increase to +4 plus 1 use of Indomitable. At level 10 another martial archetype feature. Level 11 another attack, so that puts it up to 3 attacks each time you use an attack action. Level 12 another ability score improvement. Level 13 your proficiency bonus will go up to +5 and you'll get a second use of Indomitable. Level 14 another ability score improvement. Level 15 another martial archetype feature. Level 16 an ability score improvement again. Level 17 your final proficiency bonus, giving you a +6 all up, as well as 2 uses of Action Surge and 3 uses of Indomitable. Level 18 another martial archetype feature. This will be your capstone for your martial archetype. Level 19 your final ability score improvement. And the very last capstone ability for the fighter is you get an extra attack, giving you +3 to your attacks, so that makes it 4 attacks every time you take the attack action. As a capstone ability, I mean, it's nice, it's not useless, but it's also not the best. I would have hoped for something a lot better than that. So let's have a look at what Pathfinder gets. At level 2, you get a skill feat. This comes in at every even level after 2. Bravery comes in at level 3, so your proficiency rank for will saves increases, giving you a +2 to the will save, and when you roll a success against a fear effect, you get a critical success instead. Also, anytime you gain the frightened condition, it reduces by 1 value. At level 3, you get a general feat, and this comes in every 4 levels after that. Also at level 3, you get a skill increase, which comes online for every odd level after that. This will just let you increase your skills a bit more. At level 5, you get your first ability boost, and that repeats every 5th level after that. Also at level 5, you get your first ancestral feat, and once again every 4 levels after that, you get another ancestral feat. And once again at level 5 is a pretty big level for fighters, you get Fighter Weapon Mastery. So basically you can choose one particular style of weapon, and when you choose that weapon, your proficiency rank goes up to Master, so you get another +2 onto your already +4, giving you a +6 to attack, plus you get the critical specialization for that weapon. Every different type of weapon in Pathfinder pretty much has its own critical specialization effect, so if you hit a critical with something like a bow, then that person is pinned in place, and they must make a strength save to be able to remove the arrows so they can continue to move. Level 7 comes in and you get Battlefield Surveyor. So this gives you a +2 circumstance bonus to perception checks for initiative. It only counts for perception checks for initiative. If you are rolling a stealth check, it won't happen, but you also get a +2 on your perception, and that can never be a bad thing. At level 9, you start off with combat flexibility. This here will let you basically choose one fighter feat of level 8 or lower that you don't already have, and you can use that when you choose your daily preparations. This will give you a lot of flexibility. Often you'll just want to stick with the same feat, effectively giving you a free feat, but there are times when you will want to change that feat around, given the different circumstances and your different combat styles. Also at level 9 you get Juggernaut, so this will give you your proficiency rank for fortitude saves increases by +2, and if you roll a success on a fortitude save you get a critical. Level 11 upgrades your armor, so your armor goes up to expert. This will give you a +2 on all your armor saves. And also at level 11, fighter expertise. Your practice techniques are hard to resist. Your proficiency rank for your fighter class DC increases to expert. So a lot of abilities require a spell save DC type thing, but it's done against your class. It's called a class DC, and this just adds +2 to your class DC. At level 13 you get Weapon Legend, so this puts your proficiency bonus for all simple and martial weapons to Master, as well as it lets you choose one group of weapons, such as the bow if you're going an archer, and that will increase your attack bonus to Legendary, giving you a +8 to your attack bonus for that weapon group. Level 15 is Evasion. You learn to move quickly to avoid explosions, a dragon's breath and worse. Your proficiency rank for reflex saves increases to Master. When you roll a successful reflex save, you get a critical one instead. Also at level 15, Greater Weapon Specialization. So your damage from weapon specializations increases to 4 with weapons and unarmed attacks that you are an expert with, which everything you should be Master in. So a +6 if you're a Master, so every weapon is an automatic +6 damage, and 8 if you're a Legend. This means, say you're going an Archer and you're a Legendary Bow Specialist, you're going to get a +8 on top of all your attacks to that weapon. Level 15, you get Improved Flexibility, which basically means you get 2 fighter feats instead of 1. The first must still be of 8th level or lower, but the second one can be 14th level or lower, and you can use the first one to meet prerequisites for the second feat. Very, very handy for more customization and flexibility for your fighter. Level 17, you get Armor Mastery. This will give you your skills with your armor improves, basically giving you a +6 on all your armor saves. And at level 19 you get Versatile Legend. You are nigh unmatched with any weapon. Your proficiency for simple weapons, melee and unarmed attack increases to Legendary, and your proficiency rank for advanced weapons increases to Master. Also, your fighter DC increases to Master. This basically means you can use any weapon and get a +8 to the damage on that weapon, as well as a +8 to attack. That's pretty impressive. So let's give this a quick level by level rundown. Level 2, a fighter and a skill feat. Level 3, bravery, a general feat and a skill increase. Level 4, a fighter feat and a skill feat. Level 5, an ability boost, ancestral feat, fighter weapon mastery and a skill increase. Level 6, a fighter feat and a skill feat. Level 7, battlefield surveyor, general feat, skill increase and weapon specialization. Level 8, fighter feat and a skill feat. Level 9, ancestral feat, combat flexibility, juggernaut and a skill increase. Level 10, ability boost, fighter feat and a skill feat. Level 11, armor expertise, fighter weapon expertise, a general feat and a skill increase. Level 12, a fighter feat and a skill feat. Level 13, ancestral feat, skill increase and weapon legend. Level 14, fighter feat and a skill feat. Level 15, ability boost, evasion, general feat, greater weapon specialization, improved flexibility and a skill increase. Level 16, a fighter feat and a skill feat. Level 17, ancestral feat, armor mastery and a skill increase. Level 18, fighter feat and a skill feat. Level 19, a general feat, skill increase and versatile legend. And level 20, an ability boost, a fighter feat and a skill feat. So let's have a look at the level up progression side by side. So the first thing we were marking on is choice. Now I've highlighted every point in the progression where you get a choice to make. As you can see, your big choices for D&D are your ability score improvements / your feats and your martial archetype, which you get to choose one martial archetype at 3rd level. Everything after that, you don't get much of a choice. However, just look at the sheer quantity of choices you get in Pathfinder. So I think we can say for this one, Pathfinder is the clear winner. Next is your proficiencies. So this basically is every time when you level up, you get something that will increase a proficiency, either a save, a bonus, or an attack, basically increasing your roll. As you can see, D&D handles this by giving you a flat proficiency bonus every few levels. Pathfinder, however, gives you a whole heap of different features that will increase your proficiencies. Next we have your ability boosts. As you can see, you get a lot more ability boosts with D&D. Pathfinder you can get a bit higher, but I do believe we have a winner here in D&D. Now the feats. Now you can see this is heavily skewed in Pathfinder's favour. D&D you do get feats, but you have to sacrifice an ability score improvement, and it is an optional rule that the DM may just say, nope, you can't use it. I don't really know any DMs who would do that, but it is an optional rule and we're not marking optional rules. So Pathfinder for the win. Okay, the features. So this is a feature that actually does something other than give you a straight proficiency bonus. We've already gone over the proficiencies, so you can see here D&D actually wins this one. Pathfinder doesn't give you very many features that don't just put up your proficiency in weapons or armor or your DC or something like that. I do know they get feats, but they've already won for the feats, so yeah, D&D for the win. Now finally the capstone. D&D's capstone is you get an extra attack. Pathfinder's capstone is boundless. You get a choice of either boundless reprisal, which basically gives you a free reaction at the start of every enemy's turn. You can use this for your shield blocking, or you can use this for an attack of opportunity. It's your choice. You get weapon supremacy. Basically you get an extra attack, giving you 4 attacks per turn, pretty much on par with D&D. And finally you get ultimate flexibility, just increasing the amount of feats you can choose. This will let you choose yet a 3rd feat that you can get that goes right up to level 18. This is so versatile, and for this very reason the capstone abilities on Pathfinder, yep, they are feats, but I think they are way superior to anything D&D has. So let's go over those winnings once again. Choices, that is a win for Pathfinder. Proficiency, yet another win for Pathfinder. Ability, that is definitely a D&D win. Feats, most assuredly Pathfinder. Features is for D&D, and capstone for Pathfinder, thus giving Pathfinder the win for the level up. Okay, so let's have a look at the martial archetype from D&D versus the customization options available for Pathfinder. We'll go with the very first martial archetype done via alphabetical order that you can find on D&D Beyond, and that is the Arcane Archer. So, what are we going to choose for the Arcane Archer? Well, level 1 we're definitely going to be taking bows. Level 3 we're going to be choosing Arcane Archer, which will give us Arcane Archer lore, either proficiency in nature or arcana, and Arcane Shot. This gives us 2 options. So we won't be getting into all of them, but yeah, level 7, what do we get? Curving Shot and Magic Arrow. Also, we get 3 options for our Arcane Shot. Level 10, we get 4 options for our Arcane Shot. Level 15, Ever Ready Shot, and 5 options for our Arcane Shot. And level 17, we get 6 options for our Arcane Shot. So, what do we do for Pathfinder? Well, this is going to require a cross-class archetype. At level 1, we will be taking Point Blank Shot. Level 2, Assisting Shot. Level 4, Double Shot. Level 5, Bow Weapon Mastery. Level 6, Eldritch Archer Dedication. Level 7, Magic Arrow. Level 9, Combat Flexibility giving us Triple Shot. Level 10, Incredible Aim. Level 12, Expert Eldritch Archer Spellcasting. Level 14, Seeker Arrow. Level 15, Improved Flexibility doing Debilitating Shot. Level 16, Multi-Shot Stance. Level 18, Arrow of Death. Level 20, Ultimate Flexibility, taking Mobility Shot Stance and Impossible Volley. So as you can see, we can actually very easily duplicate and in fact improve upon the D&D Arcane Archer by using cross-class archetyping in Pathfinder. But does that actually count as a true fighter anymore? Well, what I have done is gone through and had a look at all of the different martial archetypes just to see how you can actually build them in Pathfinder, and this is what I found. I have broken the D&D martial archetypes into 3 different categories. One is I cannot build it using the standard rule set in Pathfinder. There we have the Battle Master. To make a Battle Master, we need the free archetype variant rule set, which will let us take a free archetype, effectively doubling up on all of the feats we get. So you can have a Battle Master. If you do an archetype, it is a very weak, poor imitation. If you do a free archetype type Battle Master, then you can duplicate the Battle Master. However, Pathfinder fails in that. We cannot make it just with the core rules. Echo Knight, no matter how hard I tried, I could not come up with a build that felt like the Echo Knight. Same with the Psy Warrior. You can imitate it cheaply, but there really is no comparison between a Psy Warrior and a Pathfinder fighter. There's just very little way you can build it. Then we have the Category 2, which are fighters the same as the Eldritch Archer that you can make, you just have to take a cross-class archetype. That is the Cavalier, Eldritch Knight and Rune Knight. All 4 of these particular classes you can actually duplicate fairly easy just by moving into a cross-class archetype. And then you have the Champion, Purple Dragon Knight and Samurai. You can make them straight as a fighter without any issues whatsoever. So how does this actually compare? Well, I do love the customization options that you can get with a fighter in Pathfinder, but this has to go to D&D. Just the Battlemaster and Echo Knight are absolutely superb. Yeah, the others, they are all reasonably good. You can pretty much duplicate them, but nothing beats a Battlemaster. I've DM'd quite a few games, I've played a fair few games. In every game I have ever played or DM'd, the fighter has always been either a Battlemaster or an Echo Knight. And you cannot do that in D&D, no matter how hard you try. So that gives us, for our martial archetype versus customization, a win for D&D. So how are we actually going to rate these? Is there an outright winner? I mean, both of them were pretty good at level 1. Pathfinder obviously won the level up system, and D&D quite convincingly wins the martial archetype versus customization. Well, I don't really know how to do this. I would like to give this a draw. Both of them are pretty darn good. I mean, if you play a fighter in either system, you are going to have fun, but I would say if there was a winner, I would have to etch it out in D&D's favour. Just the Echo Knight is so unique and so fun. I've played one myself and it was amazing, and the Battle Master just owns the battlefield. In combat encounters, yeah, I would have to say the D&D fighter is the champion of the battlefield. So congratulations D&D, you have won this round. If you like this video, then please like, share and leave a comment. If you have another topic you'd like me to cover, write that down in the comments and I'll look into that for you. But thank you for watching. Please subscribe, as that's the best way to help grow this channel, and you can also support this channel through Patreon and joining us at Discord.